Hello, I'm Brad Kelly, and you're listening to Method and Madness. This is a show about books, the people who write them, and the labyrinth to be explored between the words.
Have you ever heard about Willie the Weeper? Had a job as a chimney sweeper. He had the dope habit and he had his band. Listen while I tell you about a dream he had.
I am joined today by the poet, novelist, musician, painter, and traveler, Scott Laudati. Scott is, the way I see it, from the old school. The multifarious creativity seems to come from an actual exuberance about life, an adventurous spirit, an observant eye, and a certain trust in himself. The vibes, as they say, are immaculate. Scott, before we get into this, I wanna ask you two quick questions, and then we're gonna get into the meat of this thing. But first, where are you right now, and how is the pizza?
Great start.
Okay.
I'm in Brooklyn, New York, so the pizza is obviously fantastic.
Yeah, excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, I really.
Yeah, pizza. This
Go ahead.
this is kind of like now I'm just sort of like telling my life story. I feel like through pizza, slices of pizza. Yeah.
Hey man, I mean, you could do much worse. You had you were doing basically pizza reviews in X-Ray. I don't know if is that like an ongoing thing or not, but
Yeah. It's every three, 4 months. Actually, I've only done it once, but there's another one coming out very shortly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'll have a link to that in the show notes for sure. It's definitely like, you think you're starting to read a pizza review and you are, but you're getting at something else really cool. So I really enjoyed the heck out of that.
Awesome.
The you and I had talked a couple times back when I was doing the Art of Darkness show. We talked about the Hotel Chelsea, and we talked about Carlos Castaneda and the whole sort of archetype of sort of that traveling west on a vision quest kind of thing. But you reached out to me recently regarding some stuff that was going on with your novel Play the Devil, which is a great book. People should read. There'll be a link to that in the show notes as well. Hilarious, touching, like real Americana stuff. I really do recommend this book a lot, but I'm not sure exactly where to start. Maybe we just start with what's the story of you originally getting Play the Devil out in the world, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. So a tiny press called Kuboa Press, which does not exist anymore and never existed anywhere outside of Frederick, Maryland, published an initial version of that book in like 2014, 2013. Yeah. I wrote most of that book when I was 23 years old.
Wow.
So then this guy was going through a divorce. He didn't really do anything. I was the last book he ever put out. So then I got the manuscript back. And then I didn't do anything with it for like 6 years. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I finally have all this time that I've been complaining I don't have. And I was like, I could write another book, or I already have this book that's basically done, and I can rewrite every single word of it, but the story is still there. So that's what I did during the pandemic, knowing that if it didn't work out, this was going to be my last chance at writing a novel, because I would never have time or money or space again to do that. Right. And I haven't since. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, it's a bear. Yeah. Trying to write a novel, like if you trying to live, I was going to say live a normal life, trying to just like live a life, just keep body and soul together, and write a novel that doesn't pay you any money. That is a labor of love, man. And it is hard to shoehorn that in for sure. So,
well, and I'm not this is good enough writer, like it has to, like, I rewrote every single word of that book 300 times. So I don't write fast. I don't write fast, and I can't cheat it. So I can't just come home from work exhausted and for 45 minutes start typing. Like I've never been like that.
Right.
I'm not like that now.
Yeah. You got to be in the headspace, and it shows. I mean, this book is supremely well crafted and hilarious, and it does. I'm trying to think of the way to say this. It always does what it's trying to do, if that makes sense. Like, so when it's trying to be touching and poignant and introspective, it's doing that really well. When it's trying to be funny, it's doing that really well. Like you're like a drummer. That's kind of the way I think of it, right? It's like you got different rhythms, and occasionally you're hitting a cymbal exactly on time. It's really good. I was really impressed by it and really enjoyed reading it. But so what has happened since then? What's this next?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for that. That
Sure.
was Thank you for saying that.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's honest,
Yeah.
man. I really really enjoyed it. So I hope this gets you a little uptick in sales. I know it's been out for a little while, but the one cool thing about books is like they're just always around, right? Like 10 years from now, people could buy this thing. So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, and it's also why I don't understand why people, unless you are getting like a big five deal, why you wouldn't try and do it on your start your own thing or whatever. Cause like I have friends who put these books out on other small presses and they never have copies of their books or
Right.
anything when people ask for them. So I don't know that, but that's going like kind of back. So when I got the manuscript back, we had my friend and I were kind of trolling all the Insta poets at the time. Uh, and then like Huffington Post and stuff was reaching out, trying to find out like who we were and what was going on here. And we were making up all these characters and we just made up Bone Machine as like a place that we were all getting published under this thing, and then it started getting mentioned in articles in like Huffington Post and
Hell
stuff.
yeah.
So we were like, all right, we should just put our books out under Bone Machine. Like, it's be hilarious.
Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's well, I mean, this is the
yeah,
thing. You kind of as you go along, you kind of realize it's like everything and everybody's sort of faking it till they make it in a way, right? Like that's not that
totally.
what you guys did isn't that different from how any other publishing entity started, really. Yeah. So that totally makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, so luckily though, I did that because then I was able to just order boxes and boxes of author copies or whatever. And so finally, I get a DM on Twitter like probably 3 years ago now,
Mhm.
2 or 2 years ago, and a guy was like, I'm not gonna say his name because he still works for Paramount, but he was like, I bought your book, I read it, I really liked it. It's got the arcs, it's got the whatever. Would you ever want to make this into a movie? And I was like, yeah, of
Hell
course, but
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but I was like, I don't know any of those people, And I wanted to go to film school. I originally wanted to do screenwriting. I just never, I didn't do that.
Mhm.
Um, so it was kind of always in the back of my mind anyway, like writing the book specifically. So it was in three specific, like,
Acts.
section acts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was like, well, I know all those right people because like I work at Paramount, like I am the guy.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, so he flies me out on Paramount's dime to Los Angeles, and then I'm staying with him in his beautiful like it looks almost like the Hotel California. It's like an L-shaped mansion with an in-ground pool and cats and lemon trees. And so I'm just staying with him and his wife. They're cooking me dinner out of the garden every night. And I start going to the Paramount. Yeah. So I write a treatment. I go out there with a box of a million books, and he's bringing me now to the lot. So we go in with him, and Paramount gives me like I have all these like laminated passes and stuff with my name on it. It was sick.
That's awesome.
So he was like producing Mean Girls 2 as this was going on, and he was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. We gotta make this happen. Like I'm sick of editing sound for Mean Girls and Paw Patrol. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, this guy's cool as hell too. He has a Grammy, and he did a work on a bunch of Bob Dylan albums in the 80s. Yeah. The albums that didn't like produce anything, which he says like very discouraged. He's like, I can't believe I got to work with Bob Dylan and it like none of this was his work that you would ever know, like have ever heard by him. But anyway, so he brings me to the lot and he's doing the sound. So he sends me on the tour of the lot. But they knew that like I love The Godfather and stuff like that. So I'm on this tour with all these people from the Midwest who are on their anniversaries or whatever. It was all these husbands in cargo shorts and flip flops. Tom Cruise is their favorite actor. They wanted to see where the Mission Impossible movies were made, right?
Right.
Everybody else on this tour.
Yeah.
So we're like on the cart and we got this great tour guy. This kid's probably like 28 years old, but I have the special pass, right? So as we're doing the tour, he keeps coming over and talking to me. He was like, like, who do you know? Like, I've been here for 3 years doing a stupid tour. Like, I haven't got my script to anybody. How did you do
That's
this?
what I was just gonna ask you. Is like, did he start handing you his script? Like,
Yo, he gave me all of his information, everything. His Instagram,
Sure.
yeah, him and his buddy have a thing. And I felt so bad though, because I was like, I've been like you my whole life. And this was literally just an accident.
Right.
Like I couldn't do this again, and I don't even know how it happened this time, really.
Right. And at that point, it's not like you have any, like, things are going well at this point, but it's not like you're in a position to do any favors for anybody else at that point, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
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 I was nervous to even like, I was like, all right, I should hang around like the cafeteria. Like that's probably where the Aries are, right? And because my whole film knowledge of this world is based off Entourage. Like that's all I know about this. Yeah. So we do the tour. They bring me where where Michael Corleone's son was baptized. Like they have like all this stuff still on the lot. It's really cool.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So then the tour ends and everybody else gets kicked out except me, right? So they're all like, well, who was that? Who? And then the kid is like, please, man, I'm from Indiana. Like, I have a script. Like, if you can help me, please do. And I was like, I promise, man, but I'm not going to do anything, bro. Like, so he leaves. I meet back up with my guy. And now he's taking me office to office. Like, we meet with the people who do the only murderers left in the building. And I give him the script. I mean, there's no script at this point. I give him my book and I just kind of like read him the treatment and they're like, oh, that sounds cool. And I'm meeting people outside and they're like, oh, that sounds cool. Then the home run though, is this guy was friends with Brian Robbins, who is the head of the studio, the highest guy in the ladder at Paramount.
Wow.
Which was actually pretty interesting because like 3 days later, that Amanda Bynes documentary came out where she was in like that hot tub with like those old creepy guys from Nickelodeon.
Right.
This guy was not in the hot tub with her, but he was like best friends with all the hot tub guys.
Okay.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Hot tub guy adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, I got to meet him and he directed Orange County. That's how he went from like Nickelodeon kind of show running to head of the studio.
Okay.
The guy who makes all the decisions.
Yeah.
So
Orange County, like I could see the person who made Orange County being interested in Play the Devil. They're not the same, but there's a similar wavelength on some level. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought as soon as he was like, he did Orange County, I was like, that's our guy.
Yeah.
Like, this is we're of the same ilk, I think. Anyway, met him, gave him the book. We never heard anything from him ever again. Right. So I go back to New Jersey after being there for like 2 weeks. Nothing's happening. So I go back on tour with the Goombas, like the poetry crew I'm friends with. And we're going around the country. We do a huge tour. And while I'm on a tour, I get a call from the California guy. And he's like, you have to write the script. As soon as you write the script, anything is possible. The money, the connections.
Damn.
But I've been in situations like this throughout my whole writing career. Like I used to work for a record label and the owner of that label sent me on tour with some of his bands because he wanted to do a band entourage like in 2006. Stuff like a few things like this have happened to me that they never go anywhere.
Right.
You can interrupt me at any point.
No, this is great, man. This is
all
great.
right. So he's like, you got to write the script, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, I'm like, I don't know this guy at all. He's jerking me off. Like nothing happened the last time it was guaranteed to happen. So I just keep ignoring him and, or like politely, but I'm like, I'm not writing a script. I'm not going to spend a year trying to figure out how to write a script when I could be writing another book.
Right. And then for somebody to put it in a drawer and never look at it again. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Cause like, who knows? Also, Paramount is getting bought out, or there's like a merger happening with Skydance at this point. Their stock is trading at like $4 a share. Nothing's getting made.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then he calls me eventually, and he was like, "You have to write this script. We'll get you flown out here. We'll put you on a stipend. Like you have to write the script yourself." So I was like, "All right, if you're gonna pay for me to go out there, rock and roll. Like, let's do that."
I mean, yeah, at that point, it's like you're getting paid for the time on it anyway, right? So
I wasn't getting paid any money, but I was getting paid in like I went to the Rainbow every night while I was there, like on their dime, and like everybody I knew, I was like, get over to the Lemmy Lounge. We're doing Jaeger shots with Lemmy statue all night.
All right.
It was sick.
Yeah,
that's my favorite bar on earth.
Yeah.
If I ever make it, I'll just permanently live at the Rainbow.
Right on. Yeah. Well, everybody knows about. I've never been there, but that place, everybody knows about that place. That sounds awesome.
It's the best place. Every time you're there, something magical happens, man. somebody from Molly Crew comes in, somebody from Norway who's in some sick band.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was so nervous. I had like 90% of this script written before I got out there. And I had like a sack of Adderall from my sister's husband, and all I was doing was smoking cigarettes, eating Adderall, getting this done.
Hell yeah.
So we got there, but I pretended I didn't have any of this written when I got there because I wanted to stay there as long as possible. You know,
That's smart, man. That's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So they put me up in his house, and I would write basically all day. And then he would be working on sound or like one of these movies, and then we would have dinner, and then we would sit on the porch and drink 3 or 4 bottles of wine, read through every single line of the script over and over and over, tweak every single word. And then he would go to bed, and I would go to the Rainbow till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So we got the script done in a week and a half. Solid.
At this point, you're kind of living the dream, to be honest, or like one version of the dream.
It's not though.
Right.
I would have said the same thing if I was 16 and I was like, this is gonna be your life. Like, but it's not. You don't get any money. I still don't have $1 from this.
Right.
And all I have is like some more good stories to tell.
Right.
But essentially, that's it. So now we're like.
So
now
when was this? Like this time you were in LA? How long ago was this?
So this was not last winter. It was the winter before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're approaching
2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm back. Nothing's happening. We go back on tour. Then they decide they're gonna hire a bunch of. Oh, then he does sound on an indie movie. This is outside of Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
He does sound on an indie movie. Meets this director. The director kid is young. He's like 26 or 27, but he has some money. He went to film school. He's got a movie that keeps winning awards at film festivals. Not like Sundance, but like, smaller film festivals. But he knows what he's doing.
Right.
He and I meet up in New York at some point because the Paramount guy puts this together. He's like, you guys will love each other. You both love Bruce Springsteen and the Gaslight Anthem. Like you'll mesh perfectly. So we do. We hang out. We get loaded. We have a great time. Give him the book. Give him the script. I get a call back like 3 weeks later. I love this. We got to make this. This is next. Blah blah blah. Then I don't hear anything again for months. Then. This kid on the studio's money is hiring a whole bunch of actors, and they're doing a table read. It was just pretty sick. The guy who voiced G.I. Joe, like one of the characters of G.I. Joe when we were kids, did the narrator part.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
they didn't ask me to come out and be a part of this table reading. I just like zoomed in, which I thought, I don't know, like I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah. It's at some point they start kind of phasing the writer out. It seems like, right? It's like it gets what they need from you, and then now we're gonna try to push you off if we can. Especially if you're not like a name, you're an established guy already, right? Which at this point, you're not quite, right? This is you're getting sort of initiated. Yeah.
Right.
So
luckily though, I went down to the WGA, the Writers Guild office in LA while I was there, unbeknownst to any of these people, and copyrighted the script.
Oh,
so,
very smart. Yeah.
Because things were starting to get a little hairy even back then. Some things kind of felt weird.
Right.
But anyway, so they do the table read. And there were a couple like Jersey words, like we use paisan all the time, like out here as Italians, and nobody out there had ever heard this word before, I guess. So they were like pronouncing it wrong. Yeah. Every time Pison, they were like, every time it was in the script, they would say it wrong. And I was like, why didn't anybody call me and ask me how to pronounce this word right? Like, isn't that weird? I thought that was weird. Yeah.
I'm an Irish kid from the Midwest that I know I don't use paisan, but like I'm familiar with it. That's weird. That seems weird to me. Yeah.
That's probably you watched The Sopranos.
Well, yeah, I've seen The Sopranos, but I thought everybody'd seen The Sopranos. What the hell?
No, that's the difference between us and them, man. These kids never saw The Sopranos.
Oh, jeez. Huh. That's bizarre. That's weird. Yeah. So okay, so
Yeah.
they do this. So they do this table read. What's the response, or like what kind of comes out of the table read?
It went great. Like there were like two jokes that were kind of weird that we had to rewrite, but it went really good, and the actors and actresses were all hitting up the other guy, being like, I love this. If this actually gets made, please have me be a part of it. But not one person followed or messaged me after it, which I also thought was kind of weird.
Yeah, like what? Well, see, this. I mean, this speaks to like a larger thing, like about writers in the film. Like as writers, we all want to see our stuff eventually adapted into films or TV because we know that's like where the real money is, right? Like you get a book out there and if people love it, that's great. That's amazing. That's kind of what you got started for. But like ultimately, like we all want, maybe not everybody, but like I don't know anybody. I know a lot of writers at this point. I don't know anybody who would like turn down a Netflix series or something, right?
Right.
But
it's your only chance at having a life.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only way you're gonna have a good life.
It really is. But you'll notice like the writers get cut out immediately. Like in the One Battle After Another that just came out. Like unless you're looking for it, you don't see the name Thomas Pynchon anywhere. And like it eventually at some point in the credits it says inspired by or something, and he's a big name, like you know what I mean.
He is a big name, and I honestly had no idea anything to do with this movie.
Yeah. It's loosely it's a very loose adaptation. Like the similarities are pretty minor, but even if you go back and look at Inherent Vice, which same director apparently loves Thomas Pynchon, that's right, you know, it's a direct adaptation of the book. Even then you gotta look for the dude's name, and it's like how it's that guy came up with all the frickin' ideas, like
right,
where's the credit? It's very strange how this works. So like that, even a big name writer, a big production, even then it's like trying to push the writer out, you know, trying to push them off screen, make sure they're not around. I don't understand it.
Well, and I've asked some other people I know who are kind of like loosely in the industry.
Yeah.
And every step of the way, they're like, oh, yeah, it's totally normal. It's totally normal that nobody would ever talk to you. It's totally normal that a year goes by and nobody cares. And it's totally normal that they would try and cut you out immediately because if they can get 2 words in the script and they get their name in the credits or whatever.
Right.
It is all purposely done like that. But like I have no confidence and I'm in a world that I don't know anything or anybody. So it's like if I don't I need constant gratification,
sure.
But like without any, I really think just constantly everybody hates me and I'm writing the worst thing in the world.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, yeah. I would be the same way. I would be the exact same way. You get into that thing or sort of like don't get invited to the table read or whatever, and you'd be like, oh, did I screw something up? Did I do something bad? Should I have done this different? Oh man.
Yeah. And they also tell you as a nobody that you should ask for stuff and that people will respect it if you do ask for it. But like there's no like you're gonna like how you know how I'm gonna be like, you need to give me like $6,000 for me to come out to California. Like I can't do that.
Right.
I don't even make people pay me back when I lend them money for any cigarettes. Like,
right,
you know,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and then that's the other thing too, I think, as writers who are sort of like on the indie grind, like you're used to like money not really being a part of it in a way, right? Like it's you know, you get something published in like a little magazine or whatever. We're very accustomed to there not being money involved. And so it would feel weird. Like if you're not familiar with it, I think it would feel, how would you know at what point you start asking for money? It's hard to say. Yeah.
No, you're right. Because even like somebody's like, oh, do you want to come to a guy just asked me to come to Ohio and read at his poetry event.
Cool.
He was like, how much would that take for you to come? And I was like, I don't know, like $40. And he was like, oh, I was thinking like, oh, yeah. He was like, I was thinking 100. And I was like, 100 is perfect. I would definitely do it for 100.
Right.
Yeah. But I would have done it for free.
Right. Yeah. You get 100's like, man, it's almost gas money, right? It's like, yeah. So okay, so they do the table read. The actors are at least some of the actors are seemingly excited and very positive about it, and the table read goes well. Sure, there's a couple jokes that have to be changed, but that's sort of expected. You're going to get, I imagine even the perfect script gets little
Mhm.
adaptations and improvisations as things go on. What's the like sort of what comes out of the table read? Like what's the next thing you hear?
Okay, so then I don't hear anything for a really long time,
So
and
just
then
nothing. So it's just like dead phone.
nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, which is like basically every time any of these milestones that I've told you about, in between, there's been 6 months of nothing. Yeah. um, but now, so the guy who originally set this all up, who found me on Twitter, he's trying to get out and sort of do his own thing. He's much older than us.
Hmm.
And he has some money and lots of time and space or whatever. So he wants to kind of carve out his own thing. The director kid is still attached. I'm actually meeting with him on Saturday because his movie is playing at the Queens Film
Oh,
Festival
cool.
here, and
All
like
right.
we're gonna talk about some stuff. But it seems like the route that they want to go is raise money to do it themselves or ourselves or whatever, and they have about $1 million attached, like from a trust fund and an inheritance and
Right.
everything else. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, hey man, I mean, I know $1 million isn't a lot for a production budget, but I think this book is well, I think you can make something like that work with this book. The sort of parameters of this, it's all kind of one day. You're going to be,
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you, was it kind of ironic going out to this guy's house and writing the script by the pool when this whole book is about the sort of like hellscape of the suburban pool?
No, it
Yeah.
was perfect. So
Yeah.
I'm poolside. I'm
Yeah.
just staring at the pool, but it was too cold to ever go in. I never
Okay.
went in the pool.
Yeah.
And they had this bush that had tons of praying mantises in it, which is like my spirit animal and always appears and is actually in the
In the
book Play the
book.
Devil. There's a scene where yeah,
Yeah.
there
Wow.
was just endless praying mantises. It was that this could have led to nothing is unbelievable.
Right. It's like all the
All the
synchronicities line
signs.
up. Yeah, all the signs line up, and yet somehow, well, I mean, not to just be like like what's the obvious opposite of a Debbie Downer, but like, I mean, it sounds like there's a potential. It's got to be so frustrating because I'm putting myself in your shoes. You're getting flown out to like with the express purpose that you're going to develop this script. You're meeting people. You're meeting the freaking head of Paramount. Um, it's got to be a tremendous. It's got to be tremendously frustrating when like that doesn't just keep ratcheting up, basically, right? Because in my head, it's like, well, if this happens, I meet this guy, and then they make it. Oh, and then it wins an award, and then and then I get hired to work on some show. It's just like, why doesn't it just keep ratcheting up? But it does sound like there's still people interested in doing this who can make something happen, it seems like, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like I feel like with anything, sports, art, like whatever, like when the momentum is rolling in your favor, it keeps going.
Yeah.
Good things keep happening. And when it stops, then I'm just on the couch watching YouTube again.
Right.
And each time you get closer to the finish line and don't, I feel like it's harder to like go back and like write another book because none of this stuff that I've done with this could ever be replicated. Like I would if I finished another book tomorrow, I wouldn't start at the point where I've left this book. I would start back at zero again.
Yes.
And
yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of the most frustrating thing is because it's like these things keep happening, but like literally like I have a much better chance of getting hired at Home Depot than I ever do being a professional writer, even though I've almost I've seen the finish line.
Yeah, dude. And dude,
Yeah.
I'm so with you there. This is like this is the sort of the hardest part about it. It's like, because I've had like sort of brushes with not to the level you have, but like these moments where like, wow, this seems like something's going to happen here, right? And then nothing comes of it, and it's so incredibly discouraging. And it's not just discouraging in the moment. It's not just like, oh, now I feel bad about myself. It's like all the energy I need to spin up to write the thing, like for you to write the next book after Play the Devil, there's needs to be, I mean, it's really easy for people to just be like, well, you just do it because you love it, man. But like, we still operate on this like incentive and reward thing, right? And at some point it becomes, at some point you do want to get something out of it. And if there's sort of people telling you all along, hey, this is great, this is good, keep doing it. Like at some point when it doesn't pay off, it's like it hits you in the fucking nervous system where like, well, what the hell did I spend all this time and effort doing? Like what? It's frustrating. This is like, I just decided today, I've had this book done for a year and I sent it out to basically everybody I could send it out to. And I got one person, I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm kind of on the hook. I thought, was interested that it was going to happen. And then they're like, well, maybe in 2027. It's like, I'm not waiting until 2027.
Yeah.
It's the internet, dude. It's 2025. Like, I'm not waiting.
No, that's a lifetime. That's, yeah.
What do you mean? Like, I mean, cool. It'd be cool if it happened, but like, I'm not going to wait. It's kind of,
no.
Yeah. And so a lot of it seems like that whole industry operates at this pace that is like not, it doesn't fit with the pace of like how the world is actually working now, right? Like you wrote this book, you wrote the first version of this book, you say in 2014?
Yeah, forever ago. Yeah, I was a kid.
Right. Right.
I would have never been able to write it if I wasn't a kid.
Right.
I believed in myself so much then.
Right. Yeah, you have this like I can freaking do it. And then there's also, I mean, you're also like a pure ball of potential at that point too, right? It's like, so you don't ask yourself as many questions about like it's easy, like I'm into my 40s now, and so the fact that I don't have a little bit more whatever, it can feed into a narrative of like, maybe you suck at this. or
it's just or the universe doesn't like you.
Right.
Like,
right.
I honestly, like, you probably feel this way. Like, I really feel like I'm cursed. Like, I've seen people jump into this, especially after the pandemic. They just like, everybody became a writer during the pandemic.
Yeah.
They just jump in, and then it's like an immediate, like, everybody likes them.
Right.
They're good looking.
Yeah.
Like they, all of a sudden, and then like, and I don't think they're better or worse than anybody else. It's just like, I feel it seems to happen for people very quickly or never.
Sometimes, yeah. Dude, I'll tell you a story. Like I had my sort of like weird crisis. Well, I was in an MFA program. I got out of there in 2013, and I got like from some well-known writers got like big thumbs up about like, this is good. You're doing good work. You're going to have, I was told by a guy whose name people would know, like, you're going to have a great career. Like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, and, obviously didn't quite happen that way. But I remember going into a Barnes and Noble a couple years after my MFA, and somebody was in a, I'm not going to say a name. Somebody was in a year around me who never seemed to be even trying. Like they never like, I saw one piece of, you're always workshopping each other's stuff. I think I saw one piece of their work in 3 years. They never seemed to really be putting any effort into this at all. I saw her book on an end cap at Barnes and Noble. I was like, how did she even finish a book? Like, it didn't make any sense.
What, and then what she sent off 5 query letters, and it was like, this is what we've been waiting for.
I don't understand it. And if you would have asked me, and this is nothing against her, I'm so happy she's having success. That's great for her. But like,
Sure.
I'm just trying to express like the surreal nature of this. If you would have asked me at the end of that time I was there to rank order the likelihood of people having like a career out of this, she honestly would have been at the very bottom. Because it wasn't even clear to me that she liked it or was even trying to do it. It was very... So I don't understand how the point is, I guess, I don't understand how any of this stuff works.
Well, I think this is why I like sell my paintings all sell, because I really don't really care that much about painting. Like when I'm done, I'm like, it's good enough. That's a good enough painting.
Yeah.
Sold. Like with
that's
my book, I'm like, no, I have to rewrite this paragraph 7,000 times. It's not good enough.
It's got to be perfect.
And
yeah.
I really think that's part of the problem. Is like I don't know. There seems to be some game where it's like the musicians, like the people in bands I knew who were like who had terrible taste in music, but they're, I don't know, but you seem to connect more or have better luck if you don't care as much.
There is some truth to that. I do think there might be something about just sort of like wanting it too bad or something like that, for sure. Yeah, I do. I mean, it does feel sometimes like, and I've got one self-published book out there, and for a self-published book, it's done pretty well. So I'm not like totally griping, but it is, I guess I'm reaching this point of like confusion about what works and what doesn't, because it does seem like sometimes there's a manual that I didn't get, that like, this is what you do, and nobody ever bothered to give me that manual, because I'm here doing, like, I thought I was doing all the stuff you're supposed to do, but none of it seems to like lead to the thing. Yeah.
Well, we're like the same age. Like when I was starting, I was like, I have to get like published in a whole bunch of these like literary journals.
Yeah.
Because if I get published in a literary journal, an agent or somebody will see it in there, and then I'll get signed. But as I was doing that, everybody else was just publishing their work online or their friend's alt-lit blog, and then those people were getting hundreds of more eyes than any literary journal I ever got published in. And that was a whole world I was like, this can't work. There's no gatekeeper.
Right.
Who's here to say this is good or bad? I thought that was necessary.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a weird thing too. I remember, and this is years ago at this point, like I was real hyped to get in a literary journal, and then it happened, and I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. They don't really promote it. They don't like cultivate a relationship with you. They don't come back and ask you for more. Like it's one and done. It's like ephemeral, right? Like, at this,
well, that's what these tours we go on.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I want to segue into that anyway.
Okay. Well, we're able to do this because we have a network of people who are older than us, basically. Who some of them claim to be extensions of beat people that were with the ones we all know but didn't really make it, or like whatever. But there's no photographic evidence.
Sure.
Of any
Right.
of this. But like, but. They'll introduce us, or the people that take me on tour, and there's like a network of coffee shops or like whatever along the way. But when I was first starting, I was like, oh, I can contribute to this. I've been published in 100 college journals or whatever. Like, and then I reached out to every one of them. Not one of them had any kind of relationship, reading series, nothing. It's like the factory guy in Ohio has a reading series in Toledo.
Right.
Yeah, he pays $50 to read that. It's like it's this whole other network, which is not part of what I thought the establishment, the necessary components, are literally nothing. They just like
they just,
I don't know. I'm archived in their library, but who cares?
Right. They just sort of exist, especially the university associated ones. Not that some of them don't have good stuff, or that you can't pick up a copy and find something good in there. But in terms of like being critical elements of like the development of a career, or whatever the hell that means, it turns out that they don't really mean a whole lot. I mean, you could probably get into a bunch of reasons why. I'll tell you one thing that I learned, because for a year I worked on a college literary journal. I started out as being like an initial reader, and then was eventually like on the committee that decided what went into them. Part of the problem with those things is they don't have a clear like longitudinal vision of what they're doing, because you've got this college student turnover. So everybody's there for like a year or 2 years or whatever. And so there's no like long term, like this is what we're trying to do. It's like it's just a sequence of ever shifting tastes and priorities. And then the other thing is you've got 10 people or whatever it is in a room deciding what goes in there. And so when you do that, when you have a committee deciding what goes in there, you don't get the best thing. You get what everybody hates the least is what ends up being in there.
Okay.
And so sometimes that results in something good, but like what it usually ends up is resulting in is, and again, this isn't meaning any story in any one of these journals is bad, but like just the decision-making process. There'd be all kinds of stuff where like, you know, we'd read it, it would pass through 2 filters of readers, and then we'd see it and 3 people loved it, but 7 people hated it, so it didn't go in. But it's like, man, what if those 3 people had their own journal? Maybe that journal would be kick-ass. Instead, we got this sort of like averaging out of a bunch of different people's tastes that ends up like the only thing that gets through again is the stuff that everybody hates the least. And I just don't think that's a productive way to like run a journal or anything really.
Yeah. Well, I didn't, on the other end of that, it didn't make any difference anyway, because there was no connection there to get us hooked up with a show or anything. I mean, even some of these college newspapers have reviewed my books. Like there should be some kind of a, I don't know, connection or whatever relationship, but nothing. Yeah,
it's interesting. One thing you did recently, I think earlier this year, you went on a tour and you documented this really, really well, and a really entertaining and fascinating series of YouTube videos, the Two Kingdom Come tour. This is about a run of bookstores you did through Morgantown, West Virginia, New Albany, East St. Louis, and St. Louis, all kinds of points in between. I really loved watching this. It felt like a little bit of a I mean this in the best possible way. It felt like a little bit of like reality TV, a little bit, just like, but in a world I actually was interested in seeing what the people were up to instead of just like some BS. Like you going and visiting people or introducing, you know, you're sort of exploring the places and they're not the normal places that everybody thinks of when they think, you know, normally, you know, people would think like, oh, okay, Chicago, you know, like more larger cities. These are like real American towns that have their small, but they have their own little culture to them. And I found that really fascinating. What, I guess you've done a lot of traveling in America, obviously. What do you feel like in this, and I'm assuming the Two Kingdom Come tour is your most recent tour, or have you been touring around since then?
No. So that was August.
Okay.
I actually came back from that tour, went to the doctor, and found out I had cancer.
Oh,
like
shit.
3 days after I got home from that tour. And in October, I had testicular cancer, so I had a surgery to cut up my ball out.
Oh my God.
And now, so I haven't really been doing much, except recovering really.
Oh
since
man,
then.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But we could get to.
Are you good for the like? Is it in remission now or?
Well, there's like a 90 to 95% chance that that's it. It's one and done.
Wow.
And but I mean, I don't know why it happened in the first place. I'm kind of an anti-vaxxer. I was forced to get vaxxed. I feel like I might have gotten a turbocharged cancer from the vaccine that I was forced to get by my mother and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about that at a different time, though. I don't want to.
No, I mean, hey, man.
I don't want to get locked into a Reddit thread of more alt-right.
No, you're all right. I mean, part of the reason that stuff happens is people aren't like willing to talk about it. I'm glad you're okay. That is scary, though, man. Yeah.
But we could come back to that, or we don't have to, or whatever. But so the tour, man. Well, I want to start this off by saying that, like, I love America. I'm not one of these people that dogs on America or whatever. I think this place kicks ass. I've been all over the world.
Yeah.
Everybody who says they want to move to Europe is an idiot. Like, this is the best country. We're so lucky to live here. We have air conditioning. We have ice. Like, I mean, even the barest essentials, like, they don't even have.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid to even say you want to move to Europe. I feel like
I agree.
But
I love going there, but I don't want to
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and when I was 22 and I was like really a Marxist, I was like I wanted to burn America down so bad. I thought everywhere else was better than America.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, anyway, but so I like, and I think this is what separates me, my crew and I from a lot of these other people I see on Twitter who like jumped in the game and now touring's fun or whatever. They go do like a nice cushy reading somewhere to college and like they get set up or whatever. Like these dudes I go with, it's Black Flag. It's
Yeah.
the floor. It's the Communist Party headquarters basement. It's disgusting couches with people's cats with mange.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's no food.
Shitty beer, cigarettes. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's getting cold sores. Like, it's
Hell yeah.
it's gross.
Hell yeah.
And but see, like, I mean, Chicago's cool. I love the cities. The cities are cool. But this network of people that I know, these lost poets who are like in their 50s and 60s, were a little before the internet, they're still there. They still have like a little indie thing. They're the ones that are out in these towns. And these towns, I love these towns, man. Like the whole town shows up. The newspaper writes about you. Everybody buys your book. Everybody invites you to the cookout.
That's
Yeah, you're hanging out
awesome.
with their kids. Like I was giving these kids guitar lessons in Bell, Missouri. Like
That's awesome.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you can hang out with hot girls and like rich people in the cities or whatever, and that's cool too, obviously. But like this side, the New Albany, like who I got to go to New Albany. Who the hell's ever been to New Albany?
Not
you
me.
know?
I thought I'd been all over,
And
but
while I
I'd
was
been
there,
Yeah.
but you saw that intact River City architecture.
It's great.
Like who knew that was there?
Right.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
So I love doing this stuff, man.
Yeah.
I get really depressed when I'm home and I'm not doing it
Yeah.
because like this country's huge. Most of the people in this country are awesome.
Yeah.
They hook you up everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And staying in one place sucks, or just like being in your comfort zone or whatever. There are whack jobs everywhere
That's true
that
too.
want to be your friend.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, man. No, I'm totally with you. I mean, I haven't been to most of the places that were in the Two Kingdom Come tour, but I greyhounded at one point. Before I had a job, I was living out in Idaho, and then I was moving to Texas, and I had like the summer off, and I bought I don't even know if you can still do it. I bought an unlimited Greyhound pass at the time.
Oh, I've heard about
Yeah,
these. Yeah,
yeah.
this is like gutter punk
Oh,
lore.
oh yeah, man. And it's not that expensive. And like whatever it was, I ended up taking enough Greyhound trips that summer that if I would have paid for each of those tickets individually, it would have been like 5 times what the pass was. I mean, I went from Idaho to New York City, and I went from New York City back all the way to Portland, Oregon, and I did a bunch of just Greyhounding around and seeing all these like little weird towns and meeting all kinds of weirdos and kooks. I'm with you, man. I love it. Like, even like forget political historical stuff, just like culturally, like the people. I love America. I love bouncing around, seeing people and seeing little scenes. It's so diverse in like the true way of like, here's a desert, here's a forest, here's the plains, here's some mountains. Like it's incredible.
Totally.
Yeah.
And all these people have been like left behind or whatever. Like most of them are in cities that some kind of Rust Belt situation happened.
Yeah.
And the kids now are whoever survived the opioids, like are starting their poetry things or whatever, their punk scenes.
Right.
And they love art, man. It's not like I don't know. I call them the dead ass generation. Like my little cousin and stuff who just plays video games and said dead ass to everything. Like he's a moron. These people are not like that. Like,
Right.
They don't have the education really because there's no tax money.
Sure.
But they love art and they're hungry for it, and they're producing great stories of their cities.
Right. And art isn't to them just like an icon on the screen that you click and like, this is the thing that I'm just going to download into my brain tonight. It's something that seems like that was one thing I captured from like these people that you were hanging out with at Two Kingdom Come is like this isn't like New York Times bestseller shit. This is like people for whom this art form is like an integral part of their life. I really liked seeing that. It was sort of like, it sort of restored hope on some level that like with the onslaught of artificial like LLM generated slop and like all of this, that like there still is like a heart of like true creativity in America that is still really pumping for sure, even if
Yeah, and you talk to these people, they've never heard of things like Dime Square
right.
and all that
Right,
crap. Like,
right,
yeah,
they don't care.
it's,
Yeah, yeah.
it's stuff that happens on a foreign planet, and it's like all that slop is cut out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's what's fascinating. I mean, I think this is one reason I find you really interesting is because you're a New Yorker, but like you realize that New York isn't the whole world. And I
totally.
think a lot of, not all, but there's a fair amount of New Yorkers where I feel like they kind of develop a sort of short-sightedness where to them New York City is kind of everything, and beyond it doesn't really matter. And yeah, man, there's all kinds of crazy cool stuff going on all over the place, and a lot of it's happening at much
Yeah,
smaller scales or whatever, but yeah.
we're lucky, man, because like we still. I was just in Ireland for a while, like a year ago, and
Yeah,
like what we export is culture. Like we export culture,
yeah,
and even Ireland was kind of lame actually because when I was there 20 years ago, everybody at the pub was playing music and singing songs. This time, it was either Sabrina Carpenter on the speakers of the club or a guy with an acoustic guitar playing Ed Sheeran or Sabrina
yeah,
Carpenter. And
yeah, that's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's like the whole world has become just one
yeah.
world. It sucks.
My wife and I earlier this year went to we were in Scotland for a while, and we one day we were in the city of Inverness, which is kind of, I don't know, it's like halfway up the island basically. And I don't know, we'd rented a car and we were in Inverness for a few hours before we caught a train to get back to London to fly home. And Inverness is not really a tourist place. It's just like a normal city, basically. It's not like Edinburgh or something where there's like museums all over the place and castles and all this crap. But it's just like a city. It's cool. It's fine.
Okay.
We went to this bar that was near the train station just to kill some time. And it turned out that this was the bar that like all the Scottish boomers went to after work. Maybe not boomers, but like 50 plus. We were the youngest people. My wife and I there were the youngest people by far. And it was great. I mean, everybody was awesome to hang out with, but what was interesting was a guy came in to play music, play cover songs just so people could do shots and dance. And every song he played was an American song, classic rock stuff, you know, whatever. But I sat there thinking, it was like we're having this cool cultural moment where we're really with like, we're not on the tourist track. We're really hanging out with like Scottish people who are here on their, you know, for happy hour and talking to them and having a good time. But they're playing all American music. It's very, there was like a moment of pride, but also kind of like disappointment. Like I kind of wanted to hear like, maybe
Yeah,
not
of
American
course.
music, right?
I was in a pub in Suncroft, Ireland on St. Patrick's Day.
Awesome.
Same thing. Guys up there. I was like, oh, my cousin didn't even want to go to the pub, which was literally 4 feet from the front door of his house. I was like, no, we gotta go see music at St. Patrick's Day. And so we went. This guy is all he's playing is Steely Dan,
Yeah.
you know, Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there and I'm like, God damn it. And it's like, the woman's like, well, what did you expect? And I was like, I don't know, bagpipes. And she was like, the bagpipes aren't Irish. And I was like, in America they are. Like, that's what I want to see.
Right, right. Dude, I went to 2 years ago, I went to Boston for St. Patrick's Day. And with some friends of mine, it was a buddy of mine's like 40th birthday, was like near it, and I was like, what do you want to do? And we all go. Me and like all my college buddies go, and you know, we think we can drink like we're still in college, but we can't. And, and we went there, and we ended up hanging out with a couple of dudes from Ireland who had come to America because they heard that St. Patrick's Day was a bigger deal here than there. And they like couldn't understand why Boston was going so freaking hard on St. Patrick's Day.
That's amazing. Yeah, they really were not like nobody like everybody was there kind of celebrating, but not here. Like nobody was puking in the street. There were 10,000 people out front. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. America goes hard.
That's how we do everything here, though, man. We go full bore the whole way.
It's totally true. Yeah, it's like that does seem to be like a weird part of the American spirit where it's like if you like something or people like something, we will do it until you're sick of it. We will just like amplify it and magnify it and do it 10 times harder than it needs to be done. Which is
Totally.
which is cool, but also at some point it's like, you know, you get to a place like I don't know how you feel about like I guess this translates into another question. So let's say tomorrow you can't live on the Eastern Seaboard. You can't live in New York City, can't live in New Jersey. Where do you go in America to live?
Dude, I hate New York City. I've been trying to move out of this city like for 15 years. I hate this place.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where do you want to go then?
There's all kinds of places, man. Like I spent a summer in my aunt lives in Montana.
Oh, yeah.
I could live in Montana. I just was reading about do you know Alabama? The way like the last ice age worked, that there's like a belt line of rainforest basically.
I've heard this.
Through yeah, there's more species of turtles, lizards, and maybe spiders, something else, singularly home in Alabama than anywhere else.
Wild.
They exist like there'll be little detention ponds that have specific kinds of map turtles that exist nowhere else on Earth.
That's wild. Yeah.
I would love to go to like it's like the Congo or something here in America.
Right.
Like, I would love to go spend a couple years there, just walk through the woods.
That sounds rad.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's a bunch of
nature.
Little,
I need nature, man.
There's a bunch of little pockets like that in the U.S. I remember learning a couple of years ago that Venus flytraps are all from this like one small spot in North Carolina, apparently.
Yeah, one swamp.
Yeah. Bizarre.
Isn't that crazy? That produced that.
Yeah. What?
Well, you still live in Michigan,
yeah,
don't you?
I live in Michigan. Yeah. So I live in.
So your wetlands.
Yeah.
Your wetlands up there. You have the most intact Massasauga rattlesnake population.
That sounds
least inbred.
That sounds right. Yeah. We definitely
That's pretty
have
cool.
stuff like, and we've got a bunch. I mean, I live in Metro Detroit, which is a parking lot basically. But my wife and I, we've got a little patch of land. See, in Michigan, we do this. We've got a little patch of land right here.
Oh, yeah. All right. Wait, is that the border of another state?
No, that's off the lake. We're like 20 minutes from Lake Michigan, which if you don't know any better, you'd think it's an ocean. I mean, it's a sandy beach. There's a national park right there, too. Anyway, so like eventually we're trying to migrate up there because it's similar to like what you're talking. It's lowered like these places you've been to, like New Albany and things like that. Traverse City, Michigan. It's kind of a tourist town, but it's just way less dense. You know, fewer, not no people. You can still go to the movie theater and go to Home Depot or whatever. It's just not. You're not stacked on top of each other. You know, you can look at a tree and without that much effort. So eventually I'm trying to get up there I'm eventually trying to get up there for good, you know. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the wetlands of Michigan are so diverse too.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. I grew up near a huge marsh called the St. John's Marsh, which is hundreds of acres and is apparently not quite like to the level of the place in Alabama, but there are like flora and fauna there that don't really exist anywhere else. And it's even got like a slight swamp people culture to it, to be honest with you.
Oh, weird, really?
Yeah.
What, like the ones down in Louisiana? Like
a little bit. Yeah, it's got a little bit of the swamp people vibe. And I love it up there. I grew up with good friends. Well, most of them died from opiates, to be honest. But I knew a bunch of people from out near the marsh for sure. So
So in the winter, though, it all freezes over, right?
Yeah. That's starting now.
That's why I was shocked to hear. Well, I was shocked to hear all these reptiles exist there, and used to like the Midwest used to have a bigger Everglades than the Everglades, and it just got. The Wetlands Act was actually created to pay people to fill it in so it could become farmland. But I didn't know any of that. I mean, and that was like it was bigger than the Everglades in Florida. So
yeah, I guess I didn't know that. That's crazy. Yeah. No, now you're schooling me on the Midwest. That's fascinating. One thing I wanted to talk to you about for sure from the Two Kingdom Come tour you did, you went to Cahokia. Tell me about Cahokia.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That episode got like no views, and I thought that was going to be like the home run episode. Well, so Cahokia, right? Like, I'm sure if you've been following you, people are already interested in
Probably,
Cahokia.
hopefully.
But yeah, vast empire, huge Native American sort of settlement that predated all of the Indians that we know of. Like it had already come and gone, right? Before
Mhm.
the native, whatever we call them, the Native Americans now.
Right.
Uh yeah. Um yeah, so I went there. I don't know what I was expecting. Like maybe I was hoping there would be some Native Americans there or something. But it was massive, massive mound, massive, huge, like almost like a ski, like an East Coast ski
That's
slope, like a
wild.
bunny hill.
You're right. That's so wild.
Yeah, and from the top of it, it didn't look that tall, but like getting up there was exhausting. And from the top of it, you could see beyond St. Louis, which was probably, I don't know, 20 miles away,
Yeah, you got
maybe
that
less.
one great
But
shot in your video from the top of the mound. You can see St. Louis, and it looks far away. I mean, I don't know exactly how far outside of downtown it is, but you're seeing a long ways for sure.
yeah, and I didn't until recently realize how many of these mound structures there had been that were all blown up
Yeah.
to level it for farmland, or and then you can get into giants and stuff
Right.
like that. Like
Right.
maybe
Right.
there might be giants buried in these mounds, but
Yeah.
it just fascinated me that like because we're always told like the Bering Strait is like the first peoples came over across the Bering Strait, right? But there's like really a lot of evidence now that maybe the human story either we're not all from one direct lineage, or the human story started in America and then spread out and then came back.
Yeah, there is some
Um,
suggestion of that for sure. I mean, there's definitely like the whatever the case, like the level of civilization and the time frame of it in America is like way older than we used to think. And the mound thing is weird. It's like it does feel like there is almost this like you put the they live glasses on like to a certain level. It's like you kind of don't realize it was all around you, and then you put them on and you're like, oh my god, I mean, I grew up, I live 2 miles from Mound Road, and Mound Road has always been my whole growing up. It was like a road that I knew about, Mound Road. Never even thought about it. It never even occurred to me. And there's like, yeah, it's Mound Road because there used to be a mound. There used to be a Native American mound, right? And you don't even piece it together, and then you kind of realize like these things were everywhere, thousands
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
and thousands of miles apart.
yes, yeah.
You know, like you don't live near St. Louis.
No, yeah. And Ohio,
we think,
there's so many in Ohio and all across the Mississippi River Valley, and yeah, up into Michigan, and it's insane.
Like the empire was massive.
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't know who they were or what they were, and the Indians after didn't know either. Is mind blowing.
Right. It was one of those things like we sort of just assume it's in the same lineage of the later named tribes, but it's thousands of years older than that, right? It's like, you think about when sort of Europeans came to the United States, to sort of North America, whatever, 1500, 1600. I mean, at that point, the mounds were already well over 1,000 years old. The people who were living in the area didn't really have apparently any solid connection to those people. So it's very strange what the hell was going on. And you can't really investigate the mounds anymore, apparently. Like apparently this is very like in trying to do it in any formal way, like dig into them again and even in a careful sort of scientific manner is apparently verboten, because the idea is that you're going to be just...
Oh, because it's like sacred ground.
Right. Which on one level I kind of get, but on the other hand, it's like, what the hell's in there?
Giants.
Right? I mean, I think so.
Yeah. It could be. It could be one-eyed giants.
I think so. Well, dude, there's one near in Detroit. It used to be called when it existed, it was called the Grand Mound of the Rouge. I don't think it was quite as big as Cahokia, but it was like 40 feet tall and pretty long. And basically in the 1890s, some guy decided to just sell it all for sand. And he sold it by the barrel. And when he came across a skeleton, he just threw it in the river. And it's like, who knows?
Oh my God.
Who knows what was in there? Anything could have been in there. Yeah.
Anything could have been in there. No, exactly. Yeah. Egyptian coins, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bizarre. So I think there's going to be like, I think there's like an untold element to sort of that history that I mean, I don't know if maybe we'll ever really get the story, but like I think there's way more to it. I mean, the other thing is, so we never talked about this, but like in my day job, I'm a what's called a geotechnical engineer. So like I work with dirt, and dude, if you don't have the wheel, which supposedly they didn't, trying to make a mound like Cahokia is millions of man hours of labor. So like
Yeah.
how did they have that kind of spare time? And it's not like it's the only mound. There's thousands of these things of varying sizes. So there was really something going on here that we really don't have any conception of.
No, totally. Because even to supply the food for a civilization the size of what would live in Cahokia, like
Right.
what did they eat?
Right.
We have no
I
idea.
have no
Yeah,
idea.
they must have like they
Yeah.
had to have had crops or something, some kind of farming.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
who knows?
they
Yeah,
definitely did. But then it's like at that point, it's like how many people, how many people, how effective does your farming have to be that you can afford to have a bunch of young, physically able dudes devoted to building a mound, right?
a mound,
Yeah.
just a big hump.
But it's a big,
Yeah,
exactly. Like that thing's got to be really important, and your society's got to be really sophisticated. So it's really, yeah, it's the whole thing. The whole mound thing is actually, I've been getting over time. I just get more and more interested in it actually, because like I said, there's
yeah.
where I'm at. It's all over the place. Like mound.
I see. I didn't even
Road
know
and-
they were in Michigan. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah, they go all the
Yeah.
way. I mean, they go all the way up. There's a lot of talk about the copper cultures of the Upper Peninsula,
Yeah.
because one, and I've never followed this down enough to like know the truth of it, but apparently there's some indication that like the copper reserve in far northern Michigan is like the purest copper in the world, apparently, that you can just find, and there's suggestion people have done some level of analysis to suggest that some of that copper might have ended up in ancient Rome. And if that's the case,
Yeah.
then there's some kind of trading network that is completely undocumented and nobody knows anything about. So it's fascinating stuff. Yeah.
I've heard that too, and just that they had the scientific skills to refine the copper, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like that they do in the steel plants.
Right. Yeah. Forge it and melt it down.
Yeah,
And
no,
all of
it's-
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And understood the chemical compounds and stuff like that. Could get a fire going that's hot. It's
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
that's the thing. I think one thing, like traveling the country, like the way you have, I think you do get a sense of like that there's sort of more to the story. Because I think if you get American history, like in school, it's basically like, okay, a bunch of stuff happened in Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia, and New York, and then we had the Civil War, so there was like slavery in the South, and
Yeah.
a bunch
But
of
then we
Native-
beat the Nazis.
Right, and then we beat the Nazis,
Yeah.
and then there was like the Civil Rights Act, and now it's today. And you're like, whoa, hold
Yeah.
on. There's like, I feel like we're missing a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, do you?
There was something else I was gonna say. Oh,
Go
the
ahead.
fact that Cahokia is in East St. Louis too is so perfect because there is not a more because East St. Louis was developed to be the vice central of St. Louis, right? You just
Mm.
went across the Little Muddy River,
Right.
and East St. Louis is a place anybody can get a job. Any immigrant
Ah.
can come over here, speak any language, and go into the Coke factory or refine something,
Mhm.
and I mean, immediately get melted to death or
Sure.
whatever. But like, anybody can get paid there.
Still make a living. At least.
Hookers,
Yeah.
totally. It was just like a den of all vice, and then, but a miserable existence, and now that's gone and
Mhm.
dead, and just anything you see there, it looks horrible. Like the dogs you see look horrible on the street, and Cahokia is there. It's just like I think it's one of those places that may be cursed land.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Because St. Louis is pretty rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you might be onto something. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to find out that we're living on some weird, that most of the Midwest is living under some strange native curse of some kind.
Definitely,
Yeah.
because you see these too if you read about any Indian stories or Native American stories. I just want to apologize now, and I don't want to get in trouble. When I first traveled the country in like 2003, and I was going to Indian reservations, everybody was calling themselves Indians.
Yeah.
now I know some people don't call themselves Indians and they call them Native Americans or First Nations people
Yeah.
or the first people or whatever. So none of this is meant to be an
No.
insult. Just
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I don't think anybody
Um,
would take it. It would be nice if somebody just told me which word was the one to use, right?
right.
Because I don't know either. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now I don't even remember what I was talking about because I had to apologize.
Well, Cahokia
Yeah.
is cursed. St. Louis is cursed. Other parts of the Midwest may very well be cursed as well. I mean, that could be what the whole
Oh,
West
I'm
Coast
sorry.
is.
So you read these stories and these treaties when there's a quote that comes up, and they say something like, "You'll have this land, for 40 more summers," or "When your daughter's daughter is here, we'll get it back," or something. Like there's like all they have these
Right.
like prophetic way of like saying you're doomed. It's just a matter of time, and I think that might be now in the Midwest, or
That could
I don't know, or maybe it's fentanyl. I don't
that
know.
could
Yeah.
be. I mean, I remember in Detroit working down like for work. I remember working downtown outside, right on some sites and stuff. And some old man who, maybe at one point had had a crack problem but didn't anymore or something. But old man, 60 but looked 90. And I got talking to him. And he's walking down the street, and he said, "This goddamn city is cursed." And I kind of came to agree with him over time, just seeing the way things happen there, and just everything is nothing quite works. Like everything is sort of like a rusty gear, kind of like
Okay.
yeah, it's like nothing quite works the way that it's supposed to. It feels like a place that has bad luck somehow. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that up and down the whole way.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. I feel bad for a lot of these people too because it's like my ancestors came from Italy. They stopped at Staten Island and New York City. They got jobs. They weren't like, "Oh, there's a plant out in Toledo, Ohio.
Right.
We can go there and get rich." Like but somebody had to go work
Mhm.
those jobs, and now you see their great-grandchildren living under the overpass begging for money for fentanyl. And it's like
Right.
they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
It's just like the luck of the lottery. And
Yeah.
your family moved out there 70 years ago. Now you're stuck forever.
Right, right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of the weirdness of it. The oddity of why people end up where they end up, for sure, once they come over is strange. Like I don't know. I always wondered, like, my folks are from a small town in what we call the thumb of Michigan, and there's a lot of Irish Americans came there. But I have no idea why. Like I've never heard
Okay.
why they ended up there. They ended up in this farming community in the thumb of Michigan. But like I always wonder, like, was that like one guy who then ended up there and then like wrote a letter to his cousin? Like I never really understood why it happened, but it's all
Yeah.
Kellys. It's all, if you go up there, it's all Kellys and O'Shaughnessy's and like O'Brien's. It's interesting. But in a way,
Do you go back and see family?
I mean, all the family I need to see is sort of pretty close. Like, there's not really anybody left from the town that's still up in the town, but it's only 45 minutes from here, probably something like that. So it's not that far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But it is, in a way, it's like, especially when they got there, that was the middle of nowhere. There's nothing out there. I mean, now sort of Metro Detroit suburbs have sort of started to encroach that way, but in their time, my parents' time, there was nothing out there. I don't know.
Yeah. What was there, like a train station?
I don't even think there was a train station, to be honest. I couldn't tell you a single reason why anybody ever landed up there. I can't imagine showing up there and being like, "This is it. This is where we'll make it happen." It's just
I know. We lived in the same place for the last 10,000 years.
right.
Now we're going to go to Michigan's thumb.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
some flat. Well, here we got to cut down a bunch of trees. I did want to ask you. I mean, since you're you do so much traveling. Do you feel like traveling is important to the writing process? I mean, you've got Play the Devil. I know you write a lot of poetry, like, and you're just generally a creative guy. Do you feel like the places you've been, the people you've met, the experiences you've had, do you feel like that's critical to your kind of creative process?
I mean, to me, to my writing, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm constantly surrounded by like even Jersey or like whatever crazy people who live on the edge, people
Yeah.
who solve all of their problems with their fists, like and seeing new places or I've always been very into history, and like I was a journalism major in college. Like I wanted to be a writer for the New York Times. That was like my
Mhm.
dream. Um so I've always liked finding these like weird people, weird jobs, weird towns, and that's like what has always interested me, and it's always what's kept me interested. I honestly feel like it kind of is a detriment though to my like I don't know, popularity or like me coming across to a group of readers because I don't know. I feel like it's not that. I was just up in Troy, New York the other day, and I know a whole bunch about the Erie Canal and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, this is here because of this and blah blah. And I just saw how bored everybody was. I was like, this town was built because of the clay of the banks of the Hudson River. Like
Right.
they don't have clay like this. That's how we make bricks.
Yeah.
And like and nobody cared. And I was like, well, maybe it's not interesting. It's always interested me.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I mean, trust me,
whenever
I started
yeah.
a podcast because when I talked about stuff with people in real life, I got eyes rolled at me. So I get it.
Yeah. And when I'm on tour with people, I'm like, oh, we're in Kentucky. Like, they have like water moccasins here. Or like, let's go down to the creek and see like what's under the rock, you know? And I'm like, always trying to catch snakes and stuff like that. And the people I make, some of them come along and they're good sports, but it's like, no, I don't. I don't think a lot of the stuff I'm interested in is interesting to other people.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of what being a writer is, though, too. Is it's like you got very specific and individual interests, and like part of it is trying to make that stuff interesting, or at least finding the other people who are interested in that, right? But it's not always easy.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. On Play the Devil. I mean, one of the things, just kind of circling back to this, just as a book, I was really glad to hear. Not glad. I really, what is the right word? I'm not glad what happened to you. I would have loved to see this get blown up into a huge movie and done amazing. And maybe the story of Play the Devil is not yet over. We'll see. Hearing that story, though, was kind of a fascinating peek into how this stuff all works. But on the book itself, I mean, one of the things that you're doing, for people who haven't read it, one of the things that's so great about this book is if you're a person out there who's ever had a kind of, a crappy job where you're not really getting paid enough and you're sort of paying with your skin to a certain degree, right? It's physically demanding, at least on some level. This, I think, anybody who's had that experience is going to get a lot out of this book, or at least have a lot of moments where they sort of feel seen or feel understood. I was curious, we don't have to go sort of beat by beat though, but I was curious, like, did you have, I'm assuming based on the level of detail, that you had a job as a pool boy. Is that accurate?
Yes. Like I'm describing how the filter works.
It's too well, like, too much for it. I mean, not that I know that much, but clearly you did this. How, do you think, okay, I got a couple questions, sort of, not specifically, some specific to that job, but sort of more generally. I mean, I guess one is like, how long did you do that job for?
Dude, I still do that job sometimes.
Do you? Yeah. All right. Like, I hear you. Hey, man.
Every couple summers, somehow I end up back at my friend's.
Right.
Well, because the guy the book is about, Frankie, he now in real life has his own pool company, and he's always at war with everybody and everything. So he sometimes will fire everybody that works for him, and then I need to go help him for 2 weeks because he has no employees.
Right. I get it. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something kind of, as a fan of Play the Devil, there's something kind of beautiful about that. Is that the crappiest job you've ever had?
No. I've only ever been paid to hurt myself. I've never used my brain in a job ever. Yeah. I was a dock builder for a long time. That paid really well, but that was just grueling. Like you're under all the piers here in New York City with a sledgehammer, basically knocking down the concrete. Oof. And then putting more concrete up, and you're doing it in January when you're soaking wet and it's negative. You have to salt your leg to get unstuck from the float device you're on. Like that, the people who do that job are like, there were old timers on that job who remember when they had to bring horses to move. They would throw coal in the steam. Like a lot of it was like hydraulic based, like the
Yeah.
big stuff.
Yeah.
And they used to have to use coal and steam to get that going at the 4 o'clock in the morning. So they have to bring a
Shit.
horse or something to
Wow.
start moving the wheels around. Like,
Wow.
and it wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago.
Right.
Like these people are pirates, man.
Right.
They're nuts.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, man. I think that's something that's easy to forget for people too. Like the writer world is the a lot of the, not necessarily the people you're meeting in New Albany, but like the people that we're coming across on Twitter or whatever. It's a lot of like, their parents were professionals on some degree and they went to college, and I think there is a sense among people that like dudes who do that kind of work sort of don't exist anymore. Dudes who are doing construction or road work or cleaning pools, that those people kind of don't exist anymore. And
Totally.
and
And they've magged those people out. Like
right.
they're like yeah, they're bad people, they're MAGA people, they're stupid people.
Right.
A lot of those people, I mean, they weren't smart in a college degree sense, but were very smart. Some of them were very well read.
Right.
Like yeah, but I completely agree with you. I see on Twitter all the time, where's the blue collar writing? Where's the working
Right.
class writing? I was like, everybody I know is a blue collar working class person and they're all writing. Like
Yeah.
you're just reading the same four presses. They keep putting out the same bullshit.
Right. Right.
It's out there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely out there for sure. Do you think, I mean, now this is a kind of question that now in the long run, this isn't let me think about how to phrase this. Do you think that kind of work, because I've done my share of it. I've been fortunate in other ways, but like, I went to, it's funny because I'm one of these MFA people. So I come across this sort of MFA hate sometimes. And then I remember that about 2 years after I got out of an MFA, I had a job cleaning out engine compartments of boats. Like, it's not like I went to, you know what I mean? It's not like I went there and then now I like got like a New Yorker column or something. Like,
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? Like, I had to scrape zebra mussels off of hulls for a summer plus.
Ugh.
Anyway, so, but I guess my point is like, do you think that at least some degree of that kind of experience, that like working class, like you got to do something that requires your body, even if you don't want to do it your whole life, do you think that gives you some insights that allow you access to a kind of creativity that somebody who maybe doesn't have that experience they might lack? Do you feel like it gives you something?
I mean, I do, but like we'd never meet these kinds of people if you didn't do these kinds of jobs.
Right.
So, but with that being said, like I see the MFA hate a lot on Twitter and stuff like that, and I never understood like why. Because if you want to do this and you want to be good at it and it's a craft, like why you wouldn't just be a carpenter.
Right.
Like you are trained to be a carpenter. You go through school to be a carpenter.
Right.
Like I don't understand the MFA thing. Like, how can you call yourself a serious writer and then be against being being skilled and working under people who have done it?
That's how I felt about it. Like, that's why I went to it. I was like, oh, I can go, like, and I was lucky enough. I got into if I wouldn't have got into I got into a good program. If I hadn't, I would have done something else. But like, it seemed like this is what I want to do with my life. Why wouldn't I go?
Right.
As long as you can.
And
yeah.
yeah, and like with the dock building and stuff like that, like these are people from a class, a world, a heritage, that you don't get insight to.
Right.
You would have to follow them around with a camera for years before they would ever talk to you, and there is something beautiful about that level of skill and craftsmanship too. Like I'm saying you're hammering down concrete pilings, and you are, but it takes 14 men in the most brutal conditions you can imagine, working together flawlessly to succeed in this operation. It's a military operation. Right. If one of you screws up, you're gonna die. Right. Something's gonna break and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So it's like Band of Brothers out there, man.
Right. Yeah, that's a thing that's a thing that I think isn't always familiar to people from like the office job experience, is that like there is an element, there are jobs out there that have an element of life or death to them. And maybe the risk of death isn't 100%, but like every once in a while somebody breaks a leg or has a rough fall or gets something dropped on them,
People
or
die.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People definitely die. Yeah.
I think, I don't, so my day job, I still go out on construction sites and stuff, and I'm fortunate enough I don't have to do the construction. I'm not trying to
Oh, you're
like,
the guy in the white pickup truck. You're the company man.
I am.
now,
Yeah.
That's who you want to be. Yeah.
But I've been out on these, when I first moved into this job I've got now, and I've had a couple different roles in it, but I used to, I'd be in the sewer with these guys every day doing rehab. They're putting up concrete patch and stuff, reworking these 120-year-old sewers, redoing the brick and stuff. And you get to know them, and they're way more interesting than the average person you're going to find at a Starbucks or whatever. Their lives have these arcs to them and ups and downs and it's like, oh, I was working on this project, I was making crazy amounts of money, and then I got a pill problem, or my son went to jail, and then this happened. And their lives are way more dynamic and insane from a writer's standpoint than than if you go to, a coffee shop and talk to the person next to you, and they're sort of like, it's just, it's not that I almost feel like a tourist a little bit talking to those people, but their lives genuinely, there does seem to be something meatier to them, if not more meaningful to them. I don't know. I feel like I feel like the professional, like living the professional life, you there's a lot more conveniences to things, and maybe you're even happier. Maybe even people are living the sort of that more professional lifestyle. Maybe they're even happier, but there is a richness that can get lost. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've always been a person too who appreciates if I especially architecture. I like constantly am like, I cannot believe people made that, used to make that,
Right.
And these guys get to do that every time they drive past a bridge or a pier or whatever,
Right.
They're like, they make their whole family look at
Right.
it.
I made
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think that's one thing that can get really lost in, I think this is one thing that gets really lost in like political discourse for sure. It's just like, I think people kind of forget that like most of this country has been built on like some young dude, or, like being willing to like sacrifice their body for money. It's really like what built
Right.
everything. The roads, how you're getting internet to your house. Some dude was out there with a backhoe digging a trench.
Well, I remember this isn't verbatim in Play the Devil, but there is a conversation between my father and I, and where basically like he kicks me out of the house, and I'm like, well, I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, pick up a shovel. Somebody will pay you if you're willing to hurt yourself.
Yes.
And it's like,
yes.
That's,
yeah.
We're poor. We are middle class and poor people. Our body is our capital.
Right.
Like this is what we have as a money maker. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that, and the whole reason I kind of brought this up and talking around it is I think this is one thing you get across really well in Play the Devil without it being, because there's a way you can make that sort of like maudlin and sort of like, it's not a woe is me story either. It's you're getting all of that across, but it's also freaking hilarious. Frankie is hilarious.
Cool.
The main character's hilarious. Like it's the craziest day at work that anybody has ever had, and yet every individual like scene of it is believable kind of on its own. So it's a hell of a book. I mean, people go out, read it. And you know what? This is the thing. If you do read it, and then it does make the film festival circuit, and it does end up on Paramount Plus one day, you'll be like, I was in on Play the Devil way before any of the rest of these suckers.
Damn, bro, that was good.
Okay, good. Well, Scott, I'll have we'll kind of close it down here. I'll have links to find you on social media and everything. But is there anything specific you want to promote that we didn't talk about?
I just no, I guess not. I'm like always working on stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to have another nonfiction book done before the end of the winter.
Oh, cool.
I spent a year before that Kingdom Come tour doing something really exciting undercover that I haven't told anybody else about yet. I've been pitching it to agents and publishers. Nobody has responded to me, so we'll see what happens.
Oh man.
But
All right.
eventually I'll get to stop coming on this podcast to promote Play the Devil. And we can talk about a new book.
That's all right. No, whenever that project, something comes up with that project, it's coming out or it's whatever, let me know and I definitely want to read it first of all, but we'll promote the hell out of it as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
keep reading my pizza articles on X-Ray. Brad Kelly and I are gonna do a Detroit episode
Hell
where it gets
yeah.
a little warmer.
Yeah.
So
We got to wait till the
watch it on-
spring at
yeah.
least. But yeah, you got to come to the
Yeah.
Detroit pizza is crazy, man. Yeah. So
I'm excited.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a whole YouTube episode.
that sounds like a blast, man. I'm totally down for that. All right.
awesome.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.